So welcome back, students. Yet another concept on percentages. Concept number 6, questions based upon price, consumption and expense. Very interesting topic, very interesting concept. So let us try to understand. We should know one fact in while solving this sum is this: expenditure is always price into quantity. So this formula, if you know, then we will be able to solve all the sums in a very quick manner. Let us move ahead. The price of a commodity is increased by 36% and the quantity purchased is decreased by 30%. What is the percentage increase or decrease in the amount spent in the commodity? So price जो है वो 36% से increase हुआ. So 36% means what? 36% means 36 upon 100 in terms of a fraction. So which is 18 upon 50, which is 9 upon 25. So this is the increase in price, which means if my old price, if my P1 old price is 25, there is increase of 9, which means my new price became 34. Yes or no? It means 36 means 9 by 25. This is my previous price. It increased by 9, so new price became 34. Now let us talk about quantity. So quantity is decreased by 30%. So 30% means 30 upon 100, 3 upon 10, which means if my quantity 1 was 10, it decreased by 3. So my quantity 2 became 7, 10 minus 3. Now I have to find what is my expenditure first. Price 1 into quantity 1, which is 25 into 10. And what is my expenditure second? Price 2, that is 34, and expenditure is 7. Yes or no? Which means if I calculate E1 upon E2, what will be the answer? So this will be 17, this will be 5. So earlier my expense was 125 and new expense is 17 into 7, 9, 4, 119. Right? So my expenditure was 125, my new expenditure became 119, which means there was a decrease of 6 over previous value into 100, correct? This will be by 4, this will be by 5. So 24 upon 5. So this will be 4.8%. So my consumption actually, my expenses actually decreased by 4.8%, correct? Because earlier it was 125, now it is 119. So there was a decrease. There was a decrease of 6 over 125 into 100 is 4.8%. Clear? When the price of rice increases by 25%, the person increases his consumption. This is his consumption. The person increases his consumption on ice by 15%. By what percent he should reduce his consumption of rice so that he will be able to meet the same level of expenditure? No, that's expenditure only. My mistake. So when the price of rice is increases by 25%, the person increases his expenditure on ice by 15%. By what percent he should reduce his consumption of rice so that he will be able to meet the same level of expenditure? So what they're saying is, my price increased by 25%, which means by 1 by 4, which means if my P1, my previous price was 4, it increased by 1, so my P2 became 4 plus 1, 5. Clear? Now expenditure. So let us say my expenditure increased by 15%. So 15% means what? It is 3 by 20, which means my E1 was 20, It increased by 3, so my expenditure became 23. Now let us say my consumption earlier was Q1 and my new consumption is Q2. Now they are saying so what will be E1? 4 into Q1, correct? And what will be E2? 5 into Q2, correct? But my E1 is 20. So 20 is 4 into Q1 and my E2 is 23, 5 into Q2. Now I will just take a ratio of those. So this will get cancelled. 5, if I take 5 here, 25 upon 23 is Q1 upon Q2. Correct? So now what happens is, earlier my consumption was 25. Now my consumption became 23. It got reduced by 2 over how much? 25 into 100. So my consumption reduced by 8%. So if I reduce my consumption by 8%, then I will be able to keep my expenses at the same level. Okay, clear? The price of rice is increased by 25% and the consumption of family is decreased by 1 by 3%. Find the percentage change in expense. Simple. So price increased by 25% means 1 by 4, which means if P1 was 4, P2 is 5. It increased by 1%, by 1. Now consumption decreased by 33 1 by 3%. So 33 1 by 3% is 1 by 3, which means if my consumption earlier was 3, it decreased by 1 and new consumption became 2. So what is my earlier expense? E1 is P1 into C1, which is 12. What is my E2? P2 into C2, which is 10. So E1 upon E2 is 6 upon 5, which means my consumption, my expense earlier was 6, now it became 5. It reduced by 1 over how much? Over 6. So how much decrease? So I can write this as half of 1 by 3, correct? Half of 1 by 3 is 1 by 6, which is 16.66% is the answer. Okay. So dear students, please connect with me on my WhatsApp channel. If you have any doubts, I'll be happy to solve them, or keep me motivated by subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much.